Welcome to today's product briefing. We're joined by Beth Thompson and Jen Ramovs of Actionstep. Welcome. Would you mind doing quick introductions?
Absolutely. Beth Thompson. I'm the VP of Market Strategy here at Actionstep. Been with the company for about a year, but definitely not new to legal tech. I've been in the legal world about 32 years now. I have mainly been in sales or sales leadership roles throughout the years. I have worked for a couple of law firms earlier in my career, so I like to say that I have experienced that conference room table from both sides, and I think that certainly helps me to understand what is going on in the law firm and really what keeps folks up at night. I've worked for a few different well-known legal software companies. Juris, NetDocs, and Big Hand are three of those, and I'm happy to be at Actionstep now and happy to be here.
All right. My name is Jen Ramus, and I am a former attorney turned management and technology consultant for law firms. I practiced law for about 4 years before deciding that the technology was more my thing. For the last 18 years, I have been, prior to joining Actionstep, I worked for an independent consulting company, became certified in 5 or 6 different practice management programs that were on the market, and I spent my career helping law firms pick the right product for their firm. I joined Actionstep in February, and I focus on solutioning Actionstep for our potential clients.
Thank you. We'd love to see a demo. We're starting off with you, Beth, right?
Yes, we certainly are. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a sense of who we are as a company. Actionstep has been in business since 2014. We are a global company. We are cloud first, cloud always. We have about 40,000 legal professionals across the world using our platform. We are focused on mid-sized firms and provide practice management as well as billing and legal accounting. So really everything from intake to that final invoice and all the reporting in between. Our technology really helps firms with growth, working more efficiently, delighting their clients, managing firm profitability, and also oversight in general of the firm. And you'll notice here that I've got an illustration for you. A lot of firms use practice management, or in our case, Actionstep, as the hub of their business. And you'll notice here that we've got other applications as well around that hub. We have a lot of built-in functionality, as I mentioned, everything from intake to final invoice, but we also play very nicely with others. So if your firm already has a billing and accounting system that you love, if you've got some specialty software that you use, if you're using NetDocuments, for example, a document management solution, we have integrations with a lot of different programs as well as an open API. So we want to make sure that you can use our comprehensive integrated platform or a best of breed approach. And Jen, with that said, I will turn it over to you.
Hey, since you mentioned Actionstep, I'm just going to make sure I can, if we get to that point in the demonstration, that we can show that.
And I very much like the approach of having both your own functionality, but for firms that have their own document management system, that you collaborate with those partners. I think that's a fairly unique approach, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, I'm ready if you guys are. So as you've heard, Actionstep is a cloud-based, fully integrated practice management, time billing, and accounting program. Really enables firms to minimize the number of products they're using to run their business. So Beth's ecosystem slide showed a lot of powerful integrations, but even with those, we're minimizing how many programs firms need to manage their cases and their contacts and their time entry and their billing. So from a practice management or front office perspective, that's really where we're going to focus today. Actionstep equips users with the ability to manage their contacts, their matters, their tasks, their documents, their calendar, their appointments, their timesheets, every single thing that you do to put into the management of a case is going to be able to be managed through Actionstep. It would take hours for me to show you everything. And so I really feel like all of the power of Actionstep is very well highlighted and showcased inside a matter. So I'm going to start there. If I go to my matters list here, and of course we're in a demo system, you'll be able to see that I've got a little over 100 matters here. But of course, the program is customizable. So no matter what type of matters you deal with, whether it's bankruptcy, litigation, real estate, probate, family law, insurance defense, any matter type can be configured in Actionstep. And when you are looking at a matter, one of the first things that you'll notice is one of what I would say is our biggest differentiators, and that is the ability to apply workflow to a matter. And workflow in Actionstep is very very powerful because it takes the firm's process and it systematizes it. And it says, apply this process to all the cases in the type of business or personal injury or real estate or bankruptcy. Workflow really says automate all of the tasks that should be done at this point, but also remind our users of any custom data they should be entering or any parties to the file that they should be aware of. So we'll talk more about workflow here in just a second. When you're on a matter, you're going to have a really user customizable home screen so that different users and roles in the firm can customize what data they consume on that first screen. You might want to see all of the names of all the parties, tasks on the file, any custom data about the business, etc. We're using a business formation matter here in our example. I can add additional people to the file. So this brings together my contact list, which we talked about at the very beginning. It enables me to create a relationship between contacts and the role that they play on a file. Contacts can, of course, play a role on multiple files. It's a relational database. So we have that one-to-many relationship capability. I'm able to add file notes to my cases. So by simply hitting the Create File Note button, I can type a note and I can also be prompted to enter my time as soon as I create that note. I can link all of the appointments to my case. So this calendar integration here becomes very powerful. Here I have an appointment on the case. If I need to create a new appointment, I simply hit my Create button and say Appointment. It will automatically associate the appointment with the matter, and I can indicate who, when, all that good stuff on the calendar, when the appointment is going to take place. I can pick a calendar for it to be on, and I can also invite both internal and external people to this event. So if I need someone from my firm to join me, that's fine. But if I need my client to join me and I want them to get reminders about that appointment, I can do that as well right from here. Once that appointment is created, you'll see it on the list of appointments related to that particular matter. I can also track my tasks on this matter. So if I go to the tasks list here, I can create a task manually by hitting the Create Task button, but you'll also notice that many of these tasks say assigned by auto-assigned. This is really where we see one of the powers of workflow. For example, right now, this case is in the document prep stage. If I need to move the case into the client review step, I click Client Review, and by virtue of moving the case into that step, Actionstep is automatically going to create some tasks for me. It's going to calculate a due date, and it's going to assign them to the right person. It will also make sure I've got the right people assigned to the right roles on the case, and it can even prompt me to add data about the case as I move it into another step. For example, if I need to create an appointment for this client review meeting, I can do that right from that step change. Just do that quickly and hit save. Once I've moved the case into a new step, you'll see that my workflow updates to indicate the current step. And then you'll also notice that I can go back to my tasks list and I'll see those new tasks created that were part of that workflow. I can also see all of the communications on a matter. And communications in Actionstep are either phone calls. I get email into Actionstep by using a very powerful Outlook integration tool. So inside of Outlook, I have an Actionstep add-in, and I can simply start to type the name of the matter that I want to link the email to. And then I can also, after saving that email, I can quickly enter my time for dealing with that email. It knows the date and time. It intuitively automates the selection of the timekeeper. It knows who I am. It knows the matter. I can even use quick codes to make time entry easier. And all I have to do is enter how much time I've spent and hit save. Now, not only have I saved that email to this matter, I've billed my time for it, all from within Outlook. This kind of goes back to Beth's comment earlier about how we play nice with the programs that we know are in use at law firms, right? We're going to complement Outlook. We're not going to try to replace it. So if I refresh my screen here now, you'll see that email there, and my time has also been billed. We also have the ability to store documents natively inside of Actionstep. You can set a default set of folders that will get created by virtue of this practice area here. And we also have an integration with NetDocuments if the firm is looking at NetDocuments or already using NetDocuments. It's very easy to get documents into Actionstep. You can upload them, you can generate them, you can drag and drop them, and you can even save them from an attachment on an email. In addition to our workflow and the many different supporting record types on a matter, we have the ability to track custom data. So for example, on a business formation matter, we might want to track things like what was the business name? Are they a domestic or foreign company? Are they for profit? Where were they formed? Etc. We might want to track key dates of things like when the client review meeting is, when we got their EIN. But the beauty of Actionstep step, and I mentioned this at the beginning, is that if you have a different matter type, for example, personal injury, your workflow can be different. So in a PI case, instead of the steps that we had on a business case, I would have things like pleadings, discovery, pretrial, etc. And I can have a completely different set of custom data that I track. When I'm talking about a personal injury case, I might want to know things like what was the date of the incident? Were there bodily injuries? Was medical attention administered at the site, etc. This is a very powerful part of Actionstep, and it's why it's so universally applicable in law firms, no matter what their practice is. Each practice area, each practice group can customize their workflow and the custom data they want to track based on that area of practice. One of the other things that I'll point out as we talk about all of the features coming together and is time entry. When we practice law, we sell time, and we have 80 opportunities in an 8-hour day to capture a point. And I know from 20 years of experience that most people miss a lot of those, and it's what stresses lawyers and legal professionals out. So there's a couple of really cool things about Actionstep that I want to highlight. If I'm looking at the tasks on a matter, for example, and I come into a task and I want to mark it as complete, one of the things that you'll notice is that I can say add a time entry once I mark it complete. So when I mark this to do complete and I hit save, Actionstep will intuitively automate the time entry. It knows the date and time I marked it done. It knows who was assigned to that to do. It knows the matter. It fills in the description with the description from the task, and all I have to do is enter how much time I've spent. It inherits the rate information from the matter, and I just hit save. So with just a few clicks, I've got my time entered. I can also bill time from the calendar. We talked about adding appointments to the matter, but if I go to my calendar for today, I'll see all of the appointments that I have on my calendar. We also have the ability to see other people's calendars so long as they've shared them with us. My calendar is the yellow calendar. If I go into an appointment on the calendar, you'll notice that I have a create time entry button. I can hit create time entry, and again, it knows the date, it knows the time, it knows who I am, and it inherits the matter. It inherits the name of the appointment. I can edit that if I need to. It will inherit and intuitively automate then the number of hours based on the duration of the appointment. I can change that if I need to. Maybe it took longer, and I can hit save. And now that appointment has been billed for. So we can bill from our file notes that we saw. We can bill from marking a task done. We can bill from an appointment. We can also bill by going to the timesheet. So if I go to my timesheet for today, you'll see a calendar here, which gives me an idea of how much time I've entered for each day. Today is Thursday the 25th, and here's the 1.7 hours that I've billed so far. But it's almost 3 o'clock, or actually it's a little after 3 o'clock, and I should have way more time entered than 1.7 hours. So how do I find what I've done today? When you are highlighted on a day of the calendar in your timesheet, you'll have something very powerful here called suggestions. When I click on suggestions, I will see every single thing that I've done in this database. I had a meeting, I accessed this matter, I created a file note, I uploaded a document, and all I have to do is come over here to the create time entry button and take that suggestion and turn it into a time entry. And again, we've got that intuitive automation. It knows the date and time of that activity. It knows who made the activity. That was me. It knows the matter. And all I have to do is indicate how much time I spent and hit save. Once I bill it, it falls off of the suggestions list. Even more powerfully though, we know that at the beginning of every month when lawyers get the email from their billing department that it's time to get your time in, we have to get pre-bills out, they all start to panic and they sort their email by date and they sort their documents by date and they try to recreate their calendar and figure out where all their lost time is. If I need to go back and look at the time I spent in June, I can click on a date in June. My calendar here will update and my suggestions will be relevant to that particular day in June. So here's everything I did a month and a half ago back on June 3rd, and I can create a time entry for any of it. So while Actionstep is going to prompt you and help you remember to enter your time all throughout your day, you're also going to have this really great safety net of your timesheet suggestions to go back and rebuild any days as far back in the past as you want to make sure that you've captured all of your time. Of course, as I've mentioned, a 5 to 10 minute demo is really hard to do when there's so many powerful features to show you in Actionstep. But the beauty of Actionstep really is the ability to not only efficiently manage your cases and apply a consistent process with workflow, etc., but there's also a great power of oversight. And Beth mentioned this at the beginning. One of the things that we can do in Actionstep is that we can build what are called custom list views. So not only can I say, show me all of my matters that are in this particular matter type, I can do things like look at all of my cases and see what step are they on, no matter what type of case it is, right? So if I'm a managing partner and I just want to see an overview of all of the cases and where they are, I can see all of the cases, what step they're on, the date they moved to that step, how many days they've been on that step. So if I want to do some kind of an inactivity report, if you will, I could say, listen, show me all of the cases for Jen that have been on their current step for longer than 3 weeks. So we can build powerful filters that will then tell me, hey, these might be Jen's cases where they've been on the current step for a little too long. Maybe we need to do something. One of the other powerful features about Actionstep is that we can build a lot of lists with a lot of powerful filters. But if we don't go look at them, the data is only marginally helpful, right? You have to remember to go look at the lists that you've built. But one of the things that Actionstep has is something called a heads up rule. So if this is a list that is of interest to you and you want to make sure you're looking at it weekly or daily, you can do what's called a heads up rule, where you schedule the delivery of this particular report or list at a time and date and frequency that you desire. So if every Monday I want to see all of my cases that have been in a current step for longer than 21 days, I can say, send that to me every Monday between 8 and 9. And now I will receive an email that has this list in it. So it puts it front of mind right in front of me. So whether or not you're an individual user that's trying to manage your own cases, or you're a managing partner trying to get a big picture of the whole firm, list views and filters and heads up rules are really going to be a powerful tool to do that. I mentioned tasks. I did this a little out of order. One of the things that we saw when we were inside the matter was our ability to see tasks specific to that matter, but it's also a really powerful task management tool. So if I go to the tasks drop down and I say, show me my tasks, I can see my incomplete tasks that are due today, tasks that are overdue, tasks I've assigned to other people, etc. If I go to my incomplete tasks here, you'll see my list of 7 incomplete tasks. A lot of people don't like task lists because they feel the maintenance and management of them is hard. Actionstep is going to allow you to batch to-dos and mark them complete all at once. And you'll notice that if I had any of those tasks marked to require a time entry, I'll be required to enter time on that before I can mark it done. So there's lots of ways that we can help people maintain their task lists and then also get that time build if they need to. With the right security and accessibility, I can see the incomplete tasks for everyone if I want. So maybe I manage a couple of associates and I want to see just the incomplete tasks for one of them. I can say, just show me Kurt's incomplete tasks, or just show me Levon's incomplete tasks. There's a great power in the ability to manage all of the data, but also great power in the ability to focus the data that you as an individual user need to consume. So Actionstep really gives legal professionals all the tools that they need to apply an efficient process to manage their cases, to collaborate, to be mobile. It's cloud-based, but also there's an app. So you can enter time from your phone, look up contacts, make phone calls, send emails, take notes, all that good stuff right from the app, and really helps legal professionals capture all the valuable billable time that they need to be productive and profitable.
Thank you so much, Jen, for a fantastic demo. That was
Sure.
very clear. Thank you to the viewers. There will be a link to the Actionstep profile on the Legal Tech Hub site, and do your further exploration of a very comprehensive practice management system. Thank you both for your time, and this was very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.